There's a message that I want to give to the world, but today I'm not articulate enough and I haven't written it out and really analyzed my audience. But there's a truth within me that I want to share, because today could be my last day, this could be my last hour, and if I had one thing that I could share with the world before I die, one thing where if I died and I look back, I would regret that I never said it, I would just say that God is real. And it completely blew my mind when I found out, because I'm a rationalist. I was a secular atheist for so long, and all of my facts come from the physical world, what's observed, what's been scientifically, proven, where we have a set of physical facts and then we triangulate a truth from these facts, and then that fact goes on and we can build upon it so that we can use that to triangulate another fact, and it becomes, there are foundational facts, and then there are things that are built off of that fact, and that becomes another fact, and then it builds and builds and builds and out into the fringes. And the thing is that God isn't God is beyond that. God is beyond the physical world, and human beings right now, the pinnacle of our intelligence, where we're at in modern times, is that we use science, which is based on the physical world. We use our rational thinking to decide what is true. But there is another layer that's emerging now that we are evolving into. This next layer, I'm not sure how to articulate it, but it has to do with faith. There is something beyond just the physical world, and there's something beyond what we can just explain rationally. And of course, we all sense this to some extent, but many people, myself included, for so long, I was very devoted, completely devoted, and many people are, to science. And if it doesn't work with science, then it's therefore not true. But let me tell you a couple of things that I think about a lot of time. If this was the last hour I had, I would want to say it's like this: an atheist and a rational person is going to go throughout life, and over again, the truths that they believe are going to be proven back to them, and they're going to believe that they are correct. They see a blueprint that they live by, and it's in black and white, it's numerical. They can go out and test it, and it comes back to them as true. And so for an atheist, it is very difficult to diverge from that, or even consider that there's any truth beyond that, because it's so provable. But a Christian goes around and they are exclaiming that they see something else, and you think, oh, that's just a psychological phenomenon, it's an emotional crutch, or it's something that you're creating, or perhaps you have a lack of intelligence to do these tests that I do. You don't have a rational mind, and so you're inferior, and so I don't want to listen to you. But here's the thing, is that it's like an atheist sees things in black and white, and their world is correct because it's black and white, but a Christian sees things in color. And this color element is something that can never be explained to an atheist, or to anyone. Somebody who's colorblind is going to have a very difficult time understanding color. It doesn't matter what you say to them. The person has to experience it themselves. And that's what happened to me in this supernatural experience that I had, that made me a believer in an instant, that turned me from a devoted atheist. I just did a complete 180, a complete repentance, or a complete realization that God is real, and Jesus is more than real. And he just gave me this experience where I could see color. It's a good analogy for it. And I realized that, yes, all the things that I thought were true are, as true as I thought they were, but there's this other layer on top of it. And I will tell you, I did pray. I prayed for God to reveal himself to me. And in the Bible it says, seek and you shall find. You have to seek, and you have to have humility. If you don't have humility, I'm not sure that will work for you. And I don't know all the things that you need. The mind of God is beyond us. And that's another point that I'd like to make before I die. And if this is my last message, it's that if you were to draw a stick figure on a piece of paper, and then you try to explain to that stick figure what it is, what its purpose is, stick figure could wonder, why am I created? Why am I here? And I'm suffering, I can't move, and I'd like to be able to. Well, here's the funny thing, is that like a stick figure isn't ever going to wonder that, because it's two-dimensional and it's not living. And well, what is it like for God? God creates us three-dimensional beings, but he's beyond us. And so God trying to explain to us questions that we have, it's analogous to us trying to communicate with a 2D object. God is so far beyond us. It's very difficult for us to understand him, and in fact just very impossible, the way that a stick figure can't comprehend us, and it doesn't have comprehension at all. And there are aspects of God that we don't have the capacity to even imagine. And I think that is one thing that's very hard for rationalists and atheists to understand, is that there's no amount of science that's ever going to give us an understanding of God. He's beyond us. But what we can have is personal supernatural experiences. And to a scientist, that's blasphemy of science, because you're not allowed to rely on your personal experiences. Things have to be able to be peer reviewed and repeated experimentally. You can't do that when it comes to God and faith. But there are people like me who I just want you to know that it is real, and please pray that you'll find the truth that's beyond science, the truth that's beyond what we currently define as truth as human beings in the Western world. We need to be very humble, because even science being the pinnacle of our intelligence right now, where it's at the forefront, we are even inferior in that. Like, we haven't even mastered science, let alone what lies beyond science. And I hope to improve the quality of this message, but here's the content that I want to produce in case I don't have time to perfect the language of it. And I hope to hear your feedback so I can improve on that. Thanks.